Hi, this is Dr. Joanne Cacciatore with Bits and Pieces. This question comes from Nyles' mom, Brenda. Tragically, Nyles died by suicide in November of 2021, and she just asked me to speak a little bit about suicide. Um, I can't, it's hard to do this in 2 minutes. One of the things that I will say about suicide is that it's recognized in the literature as a disenfranchised loss, along with some other kinds of losses. These are losses that are marginalized, that are often misunderstood by others. Sometimes people may put a value or a limit on how much you should be able to grieve for franchise losses. It's very difficult to cope with that kind of societal judgment. The way that others treat our grief directly impacts how we experience our grief and our loneliness and grief. And so that's one of the key things that I wanted to say about the death of someone we love very much, to suicide. The other thing is that suicide can be sudden and thus, of course, traumatic, because we may or may not have had any idea that this person was suicidal or was struggling emotionally or psychologically or mentally. On the other hand, it can also be chronic. This suicidal um, previous suicidal attempts can be an issue for some people who lose someone to suicide. So this may have been going on for a year or 2 years or 5 years, where there have been multiple suicide attempts or suicidal thoughts or ideation or discussion. And that's also traumatic because you have almost the trauma before the trauma. Sometimes for some people there are substances involved, and so it's sort of comorbid with substance use in some cases, and in some cases it came out of nowhere and family members had no idea. 2 minutes isn't nearly long enough to discuss this very, very important topic, but if you're struggling, please call 988, or a family member, tell someone, talk to someone, please, and reach out, because you're worth it and you have love. People love you. Thank you for the question, Brenda. I'm sorry to everyone who's had this experience, and my heart goes out to everyone who's watching this right now. May we all be held in compassion, ahimsa for all beings. This is Dr. Joe with Bits and Pieces.